Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Imran Ali Jokyo, your unit coordinator, unit facilitator for software quality assurance, change management and testing. Today I'll be looking at important aspect of the software testing, that is the coverage. Now, you know that we test the software, but how much percentage is required? Any guesses? 50%? 70%? Yes, that's right, 100%. We need to check 100% software. We need to test software 100%. But how we do it? We know that it is not possible to test with all the possible data, with all possible inputs to the software. So how do we achieve the 100% testing in the software? Here we go. We look at the software. What we have in there, we have the data paths, we have the control links. So data paths are the variables. Control links, if statements, loops, nested if statements. Now let's see an example where we would see that what is the percentage of that small program that a test case would cover. In this simple example, what we have here, we are adding two numbers. Well, it looks a simple program. So if I try to write this program here on the board and number the lines so that it's easy to understand that how we are calculating the percentages. So what we are doing here, printing sum, and we have two integers, a and integer b. What program do is just adding the two numbers, which are the integers. I'm sure you are familiar with the programming. As a tester, you need to know all the programming skills anyway. So say here we say if result is greater than 0, that is number is positive, what we do? We are printing the number. Print result. And if it is not positive, say we print for example just the negative. Now don't forget the brackets. Start of the program, end of the program. There is a reason for those curly brackets. I'll discuss in a while. So we start numbering the lines of the code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now I'll go back. Number of executed statements, number of total statements. That's how we calculate the percentage or the statement coverage. How many statements here we do have? 7. Yes, here curly bracket is a statement. This curly bracket could be statement if you put it on the other line. But here is just one statement. So for looking at the coverage test, in this, for example, I wrote a test case and my data is A is equal to 3, B is equal to say 9. Now let's walk through the program, how it would execute. Program will calculate, it's a positive number. So this is successful. So we execute number 1 statement, number 2 statement, number 3, we execute this, 4, then what we do? We come here. So we are not executing statement number 5 or line number 5 and 6. So here we have the percentage. So if I summarize it, we have a program, we create a test case, and we look at what is the percentage of statements that is executed. In this example, it is here 71%. So a test case can execute your 71% of the code, or 80%, or 50%. Depends on how many lines you have, how you have written your program. Now let's look at it, another example. Same program, same lines. Now we have a test case where A is equal to -3, B is equal to -9. Now here we have more percentage. We are calculating more statements. As a result, we have more test coverage. But how we execute, or how we make sure that 100% code is executed, we need to have these two test cases. A is equal to 3, B is equal to 9, A is equal to -9, and A, B, both need to be in negative. Okay, so if I summarize it, we have a program here with a simple first test case where we had A is equal to 3, 9 is equal to 3. We can only execute 71% of the code in this example, but it could be any 60 or 80%. Then we create another test case such as this one. A is -3, B is -9. Then we execute the remaining part of the code. I hope you can see here that this is the if statement. Because of that, we are skipping certain part of the code. Now, for the 100% coverage of the code, we need to create the test cases where we provide the data that it should test or execute all the possible conditions. It could be that in a simple if statement we have one condition or multiple conditions. I'll show you one example. Here, say, consider a simple example where we are reading two numbers, A and B, and we have if statement. Now here we are testing if statement C, but before that we are doing some calculation. So A minus 2 multiplied by B. So in this test case, if we have the first test case, for example, A is 20, B is 15, what do we have in the answer? It's a positive number. So if statement, if C is less than 0, is that true? No. So we would go to the end of if statement. Okay, in this simple program, what we have, we are reading two numbers, A and B. And then we are doing a little calculation where we calculate C is equal to A minus 2 multiplied by B. So what we have here from the first test case, A is 20, B is 15. When we calculate C, that is in minus. So we execute this if statement. If it is true, is it true or false? It's true because C is minus. So it prints the negative number. Now if we have an if statement where we have if and else block, in that case, this test case would execute 50% of the if statement. It only executes the if block, not the else. So in order to execute the full coverage, we need another test case where our condition is false. So for that, for example, we provide a test case where A is 10, B is 2. So 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. We have positive number. In that case, else statement, if we had, would be executed. So you see, we provide different data sets to test cases, or different test cases with different data sets, and we execute the complete code. Now, another interesting factor here, what we do in this code. Now, we have multiple conditions in if statement. So here we have A is less than 1 and at the same time B is 0. So you provide all the possible conditions, all the possible data sets, so that this whole condition is true. So you need to provide all data sets that has this condition, that meets this condition. So we look at the example. Say for this code, the first test case, A is equal to 1, B is 0. Will it give us true? No. X is equal to 2, and then we have A is greater than. So if you just put that values in it, you can see yourself whether it's a true or false. Again, here we need to make sure if you are executing it 100%, make sure you provide the data sets where you have true here and you have a true condition here. All right, so for your practice, I'll leave you here. You test this with this data set and see whether you can execute the 100% code, whether you have the 100% coverage, whether you test the decisions 100%. Thank you. I'll see you in next session.